Humans have monkey brain.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
Sometimes we just want to enjoy simple things, and the same can be said when it comes to games. Sometimes I don't want a high-octane shooter that has my heart racing, but rather a calming farm simulator where I grow my own corn. Sometimes I don't want a brutal decision-based game that will leave my heart broken for days, but rather a simple game about coloring pixels. Today I want to talk about the comfort of repetition in video games, and why it's so effective in the modern day of gaming. Let's get into Chapter 1, Gameplay Loop. The gameplay loop is one of the most crucial elements of game design, as it forms the foundation of how players interact with and progress through a game. The loop essentially defines the core actions players must repeat throughout the game and the way those actions feed into the overall experience. Gameplay loop can make or break your game. I mean, just look at Anthem. Anthem suffers from a repetitive gameplay loop where players are expected to grind for new gear and complete the same types of missions over and over again. The lack of engaging and meaningful progression, partnered with the repetitive nature of the missions, left players feeling that they were going through the motions. The key word here is progression. Repetition within a gameplay loop often ties directly into a game's progression system. As players repeat actions, they gain rewards that make them feel more powerful, knowledgeable, or invested. This sense of progression is what keeps players motivated to continue playing the game. For a lot of games, that progression point is met with rewards of loot or gun skins or any number of things, loot boxes. But what happens when that reward is real-time growth? Not one specific perk or one specific weapon skin, but something that can only be cultivated through time and effort. That is where we get our true monkey brain activation. Nothing can equate to the feeling when you itch that scratch in the back of your head. And in gaming, that's equivalent to a player mining in Minecraft, a character fishing in Animal Crossing, or a farming scene in Stardew Valley. These games have mastered the art of the gameplay loop. Yes, you're doing repetitive things such as in Anthem, but in the back of your mind, you're doing these things for a purpose. The overall goal in Minecraft is to survive, yes, but there are a lot of minor goals reached within that major goal that makes the gameplay loop so addicting and so rewarding. Another aspect that makes this really scratch that itch in our monkey brains is the low stakes environment. A game like Elden Ring accomplishes the same masterful gameplay loop as, let's say, a Stardew Valley. However, the itch is satisfied more in Stardew Valley or Minecraft because these games give players a sense of freedom and control in a low-pressure environment. This allows them to approach repetition in a relaxed manner, making it feel more like a choice rather than a chore. Don't get me wrong, there is a time and a place for grindy games. I know people get off to that sort of thing sometimes, and I do too, but the feeling you get from accomplishing something in Minecraft is very different than the sigh of relief from beating a boss in Elden Ring. Let's take a deeper look into the science of why this type of repetition is so sought after in video games.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Coffee is just dirt water. I don't care what you think, it just is the case. Regardless of this fact, many people find comfort in daily routines like morning coffee, exercising, or walking. Games like Stardew Valley replicate this feeling of daily rituals, where players wake up each day, check on their crops, water them, and maybe chat with some villagers until the night cycle hits and the whole thing repeats. This structure makes repetition feel familiar and comforting. And that word familiarity is exactly how these games run. When players perform a task in a game and receive a reward, like leveling up, unlocking new items, or achieving milestones, it triggers the release of dopamine, which makes the activity feel pleasurable. Repeating these actions that lead to these rewards can create an addictive loop. Games like Stardew Valley and Minecraft use variable rewards, which are rewards that aren't always guaranteed, which keeps the players hooked. For example, when fishing in Stardew Valley, you don't know what kind of fish you're going to catch. Is it going to be rare? Is it going to be a yellow star? Is it going to be a silver star? And the same thing for mining in Minecraft. When you go into a mine shaft, that mystery of what if there's a diamond in here is what keeps you mining one more block more. I don't even know if that sentence was good. I might scrap that. This helps explain why players don't just tolerate repetition, but enjoy it. Of course, this idea doesn't just carry out through sandbox games, but also narrative-driven games. In a narrative-driven game, repetition often comes with a sense of purpose tied to the story. For instance, you might repeat certain mechanics, combat or exploration, because they push the story forward, and you really want to see what happens to X character. While in a sandbox game, there is no predefined narrative. The player creates their own stories. The joy of repetition comes from the ability to shape the world around you at your own pace. Again, different strokes for different folks, I guess. It depends on which one you like. But some of the best titles in video game history accomplish both at the same time, i.e. Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, basically all of Rockstar's games accomplish doing both the sandbox and storyline repetition that makes the game gel so well. All of this works together to explain why repetition in video games is basically the heart and blood of the entire organism. In conclusion, repetition in games like Minecraft and Stardew Valley is far from mindless grinding. It's a carefully crafted gameplay loop that taps into psychology, creativity, and personal satisfaction, offering rewarding progressions, a low-stakes environment, and plenty of room for player agency. These games turn what could feel like monotonous tasks into something meaningful. Whether it's through dopamine hits triggered by small victories, the feedback loops that reinforce behavior, or the ritualistic comfort they provide, these games make repetition feel relaxing and rewarding, rather than tedious. So the next time your monkey brain activates, remember this video, and remember that coffee is bad. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, subscribe if you want to subscribe. I post every Sunday. And I'm gonna go sleep or something, man. It's just so cold in January too. Like, damn, man. Why is it this cold? Makes no sense.